This is a 1995 Ernie Ball Music Man Van Halen. And that was my best Doug DeMuro impersonation, which was really bad. But there's not a lot of videos on YouTube that I found that really show these guitars in detail that are newer videos. These are kind of hard to come by, and they're pretty expensive. So I'm just going to go over two models. I own a red one that's a 92, I think, and this one I believe is a 95, maybe a 94. I haven't really researched serial numbers to identify when they were made. I guess I could have done a little bit more homework before shooting this video, but the important part is just showing close-ups of what this looks like and the way it sounds. The Ernie Ball Music Man is basically like the Axis models that are out nowadays, but they put the toggle switch in a different place. The Van Halen models had the toggle switch down here, and obviously a tone knob, which is a volume. The custom Van Halen Humbucker that was made for Ernie Ball. So this is not the same pickup you get in a Wolfgang, but it's probably really similar. I should do a shootout one day regarding the Wolfgang pickups and the PV and the Ernie Balls. To my ears, this pickup sounds a lot creamier, and it sounds a little bit cleaner when it comes to high gain stuff. Just like for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, if you're familiar with that album, which I'm sure you are if you're watching this video, that's the sound. Interesting fact, this is a licensed by Floyd Rose, but it's got a Music Man logo on it. Standard tuners, or strap holders, metal input jack. This is a basswood body. I assume that's a maple top. I always heard Eddie liked maple tops and basswood, that he thought that was the best sounding combination for guitars from what I've read. This is a great bird's eye maple neck. One thing that you don't hear about much about these guitars is back in the 90s when this guitar came out, Eddie Van Halen claimed or stated that Ernie Ball had done a complete computer modeling of his neck on his Kramer, his Frankenstein. So this neck is supposed to be just like playing his Kramer neck. So I don't know how they did that back in the 90s. I know nowadays it would probably be a lot more advanced, but this is supposed to be an exact replication of the Frankenstein neck. So if we flip this over carefully, this is what this looks like. Back of the headstock, typical for Ernie Ball guitars. Sorry for the strange video quality, just holding my phone here. And then the serial number, I need to look this up so we can kind of date it. Neck plate. There's a little bit of buckle rash on this one right there. This guitar has not been played. I've babied this thing so much. My only complaint about these guitars really is they're fragile as far as electronics. This one I have barely played, so the toggle switch is perfect, but my red one that I've got that I'm going to show in just a minute, the toggle switch always pops back in the middle position. It wore out very quick, and the Floyd Rose is great, but I have to tighten these up frequently to keep it in tune. I think it just needs to be cleaned and taken care of a little bit of TLC on the red one. But overall, the playability is great. Sound is fantastic, but I think it's a little fragile when it comes to the toggle switch, and I've had a little issue with the Floyd Rose on the red one, but I have played that one a tremendous amount. This is the red Ernie Ball Music Man. This one is a 91 or 92. This one I've owned since the early 90s. The natural colored one I've only owned for about 6 years. So this one was played religiously, and you can see where unfortunately I've put a few dings on this one. Nothing crazy, but not happy about that. And then the toggle switch, this is what I was talking about earlier. This toggle it's not quite right. It works, but it wants to stay in the middle position. It's a weird toggle switch. It's an Ernie Ball Music Man toggle switch that they use, and it's not like a Switchcraft, so it's a little different. I don't want to replace it with anything but an original part, and since it still works okay, I don't want to alter anything original on this guitar. I have both the original hardshell cases with this and the case candy. The neck on this one is definitely a lighter or a darker color. I believe it's just from being played a lot. It's not worn out. The frets aren't worn in too bad at all, but it's just been played. So I think over probably for about 3 or 4 years I played this thing a lot, and it's just probably sweat in the fretboard. The headstock is perfect shape. Once again, the Van Halen signature. Everything on this guitar is exactly the same as the natural colored one, other than the neck is a little bit different color. The maple neck on that natural one has a little bit more bird's eye on it. This one is more of a quilted flame neck. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I did mention I didn't like the fragility of the toggle switch on these models. One thing I didn't mention that I find hard now that I'm getting a little bit older in age is the dots. The fret dots on these guitars are really small. So sometimes it's hard to see where you're at. I need to see where I'm at when I'm playing, but the dots on the fretboard are very tiny. When I flip it back over, I'll show what I'm talking about. See? It's funny how little things like that make a difference when you play. The dots are pretty easy to see on the top. They're dark, so it's not hard to play. But those sure are tiny dots. It's a beautiful guitar.